they're all coming from North Carolina. And Patti Katz is from Oregon, and there they had a campaign called Think Outside the Box, and they beat it bad. So, Patti, thank you.
Hi, my name is Patti Katz. I am a formerly incarcerated person. My SID number is 853-1498. If I say that to impress you, because it's a very old number and I'm a very old person. What I'd like to say is I happen to work for an incredible organization that I was a volunteer member for 5 years before I got hired. And I was hired because of my past, not in spite of my past. So that is who I work for. We bring together people most affected by crime, people who have been convicted of crime, people who have survived crime, and the families of both, to come together with a voice that we can advocate for not all of our resources being put in cages, but resources being put to people who have survived crime, for domestic and sexual violence shelters, and for people like me, heroin addicts who maybe should have gone to treatment and not prison. So, you know, that's who I get to work for. And right before I came to work, I had, for Partnership for Safety and Justice, I had been hired and gone through the whole hiring process, and it was hired by the county that I lived in. And because the funding hadn't come through for my job, I was supposed to go and get my payroll brokered through a temp agency. And I marked that box, and the woman actually was mean and nasty enough, and she said, well, if you get called back, you can bring this. And she just really threw my piece of paper with the box on it on the table and handed me back my Attagirl packet. And kind of hurt my feelings, and it sort of pissed me off. And the next day I was called in for my second interview. We were then called Western Prison Project, and they told me one of the things I would be working on is eliminating the box that has, have you ever been convicted of a felony? I went, whoa! And so that's what I got to do. And what we started out is we surveyed family and formerly incarcerated people and people in jail about, we interviewed 500 people, and we said, what were your barriers? What did you do, you know, what do you, and well, a big duh here, employment, housing, education. And so we had the information we needed, and we wrote a report and distributed it to people that needed to have that information. And then we started, we had a speakers bureau, and we had all of Mr. Nunn come up. Linda and Dorsey came up from the Bay Area to Portland and talked to my speakers bureau, and they were amazed that people like us were able to make a difference. And so we built in our, we brought our speakers, our formerly incarcerated people, out into the community, and we took them to county commissioners, we took them to drug and alcohol treatment places, we took them to workforce development places, we took them to churches, we took them to community members, and we got letters of endorsement from many community members. We then went to, well, we first went to a county commissioner that I had a relationship with, and she said, yeah, we can do this before I leave office. She was pregnant, she wanted to have a baby. And my boss and I were going, yeah, high five. And then by the time we got to the elevator, we went, there's no public education if we just do this behind a closed door and not bring community into it. So we went back in and said, we're going to involve community, and we'll be back in a year. And so when we got all the letters of endorsement, and we got some really good human interest stories put into the paper, and we had colleges and faith-based and labor all on our side, then we went to the county commissioner chair at the time, and he said we didn't even need to do a board briefing. And he said, I'm the CEO of this county and I'll do it. And so he did it, and the box disappeared. Lessons learned, there was no, he just took the box off. And then when you ask for statistics and what happened and blah, 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 they'll go, well, we don't ask the question anymore. We don't know. Pardon me, but I think that's BS. So we went to another city, the second largest city in Oregon, and we went to the city controller, the city manager, and we had done the same work in Eugene, and we had the same letters of endorsement, and we had legislators and formerly incarcerated people and family members, and he was the one, after doing a power analysis, we found out he was the one that made the decision, and it only lied with him. We'd done a presentation to the mayor and everyone else, and they kept going, it's him, it's him, it's him. So we kept asking him, and he hadn't made a decision yet. So we told him, in the spirit of community, and to let our people get involved, we're just going to have a little email campaign. And the next day, and it's, but the next day we had 100 people email him and CC it to the mayor. And finally the mayor called me and she said, Patty, I told him, you're not going away. So they did it. And then he tried to really tick me off by saying, well, we'll do a year-long pilot project. Well, they did, and guess what? Nothing bad happened. So, it was really good. And what we're doing strategically in my state, just recently, there was a knucklehead politician that said, if you have, that's the sound of my alarm clock, it's like it's time to wake up now. If you have, and she listed out a whole list of things, you will lose your right to be a drug and alcohol counselor if you get any state mental health monies. Well, all that money is in, all those resources are now in one big pool, and so we had to bring all of the allies that we got from our Think Outside the Box campaign together. We had to go out into the state. I'm in recovery, and so we organized in the recovering community, and we made legislation happen so that right now there's 5 people that can't work with mental health funds, and those are 2 murder charges, and I don't know what they are, and 3 sex offense charges, but everybody else got their job back. And we were at the Capitol all the time telling the story, and also talking about when it's time, where I'm on the Governor's Reentry Council, when it's time, we want all of your stories to go to the governor so that we can do a Ban the Box in Oregon. On the employment working group that I'm on, my boss is there today because I'm here, but at the last meeting, I was talking about banning the box, and somebody at that table said, well, that'll never happen in Oregon. And I said, and that's because you guys all think too small. And that's my opinion of him, and I didn't know if I'd get fired or what, but my boss gave me a high five, and he's going to sit in on the next couple of meetings. But, there's things that we're doing, and we're working for a certificate of rehabilitation, and we're going to people around the country to see what works. I found out California doesn't work too well.
Nope.
Terrible. Yeah.
Terrible.
But there are places that are working, and so we've got Hire and NELP and a couple other people that are coming in a teleconference with another working group, a legislative working group, to the governor to see if we can really get an Atta-Girl certificate, graduation from bad girl school, so that maybe
Atta-Girl.
Yeah. So that maybe people like me and my friends will be able to have the same opportunities. I'm not asking for extra, I'm asking for equal. So that's what we're doing.